It's Friday morning, the 20th of March, and I was thinking about, as I was watching the news this morning, what God thinks about this. And in particular, is this God's will that all this would come down on His creation? Not just the United States, but it's pretty much spread around the world for the most part. And as I was thinking about that and reading and reflecting this morning, I was thinking, sometimes we all have kind of a skewed idea of what we believe God's will for us is. For some of us, we may think of God's will as like a train track, that all we have to do is simply stay on the track. And if we don't, then our lives will fall into ruins. It's the old idea of a train crossing a bridge, and something happens and the train falls off the bridge and into the river below. That's how some people believe God's will is for us, that we just simply have to stay on the track. Others think it's like a blueprint. Maybe it's something that we just have to follow the plan. Follow the plan, and if we do that right, everything will be safe and happy. And yet, we know that's not the case. And so what is God's will? And I think Paul, the apostle, gives us a very different perspective on God's will. I like the words out of Romans, the famous words from Romans 12:2. It says, "Don't copy the behavior or the customs of the world, but let God transform you into a new person by changing the way you think. Then you will know God's will for you, what is good, pleasing, and perfect." I think that puts us on a different path, because it tells us not to be drawn into the way the world thinks. And in our situation today, maybe the world's fears or the world's behaviors and the world's perspectives on how everything seems to be just falling apart. But I think the will of God really is for Paul, the thing that pleases God, the thing that is acceptable to Him. It has more to do with our attitude, our outlook, and our perspective. Because I think God wants us to be people who live our lives through our relationship with Jesus Christ. That as we put our faith in Him, we know that He will change us. He will help our perspective be different, our outlook be different, our attitudes will be different, and they will be very different from the world. And so that helps us to be able to speak in to say, God's will is about how we interact with our world because of our relationship with Jesus Christ. That is what God desires for us. That is God's will for us. The big picture stuff, we know God has our best interests at heart, even when it seems hard. All you need to do is think about Jesus walking towards Jerusalem and eventually the cross. Not easy stuff, but it was what God desired so that all of us might have life. And so as we live in this world of uncertainty and wondering what's around the next corner and wondering where God is in all of this, remember that God's will is for us, first and foremost, to be in relationship with Him. And it's out of that relationship of love that transforms us that we can begin to live and look at our world differently, the people in it, and reflect Him more clearly to our world. I hope that encourages you on this Friday. I wanted to let you also know that we're going to have a video that I will put on the website that Steve is going to put some music around for Sunday. And we're going to I'll do a little more of an extended devotion there. And if you're wondering what that is, I can tell you right now that I'm going to be talking about Jacob and Esau from Genesis 32 and 33. So if you are looking for something to do and you're tired of binge watching, go ahead and read Genesis 32 and 33 for Sunday. Also wanted to let you know that I'm also going to take a time at that point to be sharing some stories of how you have seen God's work working around you, maybe some encouragement that you've heard. I think it's important for us to share those stories as we go forward. And so I've received a few of them. If you want to send them to me on my email, buck@faithchurchmn.org, I will try to get those in on as part of Sunday's work as well. And then I also want to let you know that we're going to continue with our Wednesday night devotional meeting. Last Wednesday night we tried it on Zoom, where it was an interactive experience, and so we're going to try that again. And what I've been learning about Zoom, I'm learning this new technology as well, is that you don't have to have a computer with a camera or even a smartphone. You can simply dial into a phone number and then enter in the meeting ID. And so I will put the phone number to dial in on our website. I think the meeting ID for our Lenten devotional is already on there. And so you don't need to send me an email like you did this week for those that did. You simply have to go to your Zoom app or go to the Zoom website and say join meeting, and then put in that meeting ID, and that will connect us at 6:30 on Wednesday. And so I invite you to be part of that as well. One of the other things I wanted you to be aware of is we're trying to put together a group of people from faith who would be willing to help run errands, do whatever is needed for some of us who may be stuck at home, either out of choice or because we have to, because we've been exposed to the virus. So if you are in need of help, I will ask you to let me know, and I'm going to try to put together a coordinator that will help do that. And also, if you can help out, let me know. A couple of you have done that as well, and I appreciate that very much. And so that's one way we can continue to help our folks here in our community. Also, be sure if there is someone in your community, our community, that you're thinking about, just pick up the phone and give them a call. We all need that kind of human interaction right now, so I invite you to do that as well. So I will see you next on Sunday morning with a word from God for us. So God bless, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye now.